Shoot a big deer with that.
Bring your left. Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and to my left, your right, is the M119er Alpha 3 105mm towed howitzer. The original 119er came into service in 1983. The Alpha 3 upgrade that we've got here today came into service in 2013. This is a 105mm howitzer that's about a 4-inch bore, and it will deliver a projectile like this one here out to a range of 7.5 miles. Ooh. Projectile itself weighs about 33 pounds for high explosive shells with a blast radius of about 30 meters. So to put that into a little bit of perspective, if one were to land where I'm standing, you probably don't want to be anywhere between the ships and the fort walls. You're going to be having a very bad day. Put 7.5 miles into perspective, from where we're sitting right now, we could shell Busch Gardens if we wanted to. We don't want to, like there, but it's nice to know we could if we needed to. Ours requires a bit more to operate. We need a crew of at least 5, but it's better operated with a crew of 7. Our rate of fire is pretty quick too. We can manage 8 rounds a minute for the first 3 minutes. After that gun starts to heat up, we have to slow down a little bit to 3 rounds a minute, and we can sustain that for 30 minutes. Beyond just the high explosive shells, we also have white phosphorus smoke, which burns at over 4,000 degrees. That's more than hot enough to melt a tank. We have regular HC smoke to provide concealment on the battlefield. And we have illumination rounds that will shoot flares, so we can turn the night into day if we need to. It's a very effective piece of military hardware.
One round.
You're repeating everything. I'm sure we're all on the same page.
Fuse BD, charge 7.
All right, fuse BD, point detonating, charge 7. That's how much gunpowder?
3, 2, 0, 0.
Quadrant 4, 5, 0.
Quadrant 4.
Quadrant in elevation. They're actually aiming the gun. 1 round goes in the breech. Breech gets closed.
Set ready.
Out of
Fire. Fire.
Chambers away. Gunners, are you ready?
Roger.
Have a care. Give. Fire.
That's why we wear helmets.
Fire.
They shot so fast.
Fire. Fire. Fire.
Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire.
Okay, well, what we've got up at the James Fort end of things is, as Don mentioned, what is often referred to as a swivel gun, or rail gun, or sling gun, and Captain John Smith refers to it as a murdering piece when he orders 3 dozen of them for the colony at Jamestown. And we don't know exactly how many he actually received, but he asks for 3 dozen of them. This is a fairly unique gun for the time period. Most of the artillery in use in this time period, and most of the artillery earlier brought to Jamestown with that initial expedition, would have been muzzle-loading guns, which would have taken most of the time upwards of a minute to load, would have given you better range and better destructive power against structures like forts and ships than a gun like this. But this gun is designed specifically for a high rate of fire. In the 17th century, more than 1 round a minute is moving pretty quick. This gun can be crewed with as few as 2 men. You can see we've got a few extra here today because when you've got them, why not? But that gun will handle about 3 pounds of shot. in what will be referred to as case shot, a wooden case filled with shot. Whatever you've got, most commonly musket bullets, pistol bullets, or shards of stone. This hollow wooden case filled, in this case, with scrap iron is held shut with string, obviously not going to withstand being fired from that gun. So that basically what you're looking at there is an oversized shotgun. And this is why John Smith orders so many of them for James Fort. Initially, their concern is to fight Spain for control of the territory. They end up in open war against the Powhatan chiefdom, who do not have large warships. They do not have large forts. What they have is a lot of people. And so what they found, what the English colonists here found, was that an anti-personnel gun, a specifically anti-personnel gun, was what was going to be most efficient. And again, because it is specifically intended to fire this, is why Smith is referring to it as a murdering piece. As I mentioned, it is a breech loading gun. It has multiple cast iron breeches that will be loaded with gunpowder ahead of time. So rather than having to stop and clean and reload the gun with every shot as would be necessary with a muzzle-loading piece, all you have to do is remove that cast iron breech, slide a new shot into the back of the gun, put a new breech full of powder into the back of the gun, and it's ready to go. So that's going to allow for multiple shots per minute, which again is going to be considered a very high rate of fire in the 17th century. In most cases, a competent gun crew will be able to load and fire that gun faster than a musketeer can load and fire his musket. It's a pretty high rate of fire. Just to give you an idea, if I had that case shot loaded with musket balls, that's going to be upwards of 3 dozen projectiles coming out of that gun every time it's fired. Effective range, of course, because it is scatter shot, it's limited, likely to be most effective within 50 yards, a very close range weapon.
Have a care! Get fire! Get fire! Get fire! Have a care! Get fire!
Match for now.
Secure the piece.
Norfolk Light! Fire!
Stand by.
Have a care.
Light, fire.
Have a care.
Fire.
Have a care.
Men in charge. Charge the piece.